Hi there, my name is Michael Catneys, class of 2013. I am the secretary of the St. Paul's High School Alumni Association. We're here at the Winnipeg Graffiti Gallery with Pat Lazo, class of 95, and we're going to ask him some questions today. How's it going, Pat?
I'm doing well.
Awesome. So my first question is just about your journey as an artist and kind of where things started for you and where they are now.
When I was a child, I always drew and sketched and stuff like that. And I guess when I went to St. Paul's, I had Mrs. Phillips, and she had convinced me to go into art club and doing going into lunch hours and drawing and painting projects and stuff like that. And also she advised me that there were options to pursuing an art career, which I had no idea of, that you could make a living doing art and getting an education in art, which was great. And I loved going to school, learning different mediums and learning some art history to base my kind of practice off of. But really, what interested me was my interest in graffiti and hip hop and the elements of hip hop. And I was involved in skateboarding and graffiti and that sort of also guided me in my journey as an artist, because I didn't really take the conventional path, I guess, that some artists take with art. My experience with art was very made my own path, as career-wise, as well as my experience is different in a lot of ways. Doing illegal graffiti was sort of a no-no, but in reality, now that I look back, it's one of the lesser evils that I could have been involved in, and has worked out.
So from that, where you kind of started there,
Yeah.
how does it get from there to where we are now and here?
Yeah, well, I mean, with my university art education, I sort of had a theme with the body of work I was doing. I was doing dealing with the politics of doing illegal graffiti or using the tools of illegal graffiti in a legal venue, which is letting the public into see something that's sort of a secret society kind of thing, which is a little bit you get the feeling, am I selling out? Am I I'm not keeping it real sort of thing. But I mean, it's it's like hip hop is everywhere, and dance and the arts and the influence of graffiti and street culture on art, and commercial art is seen in every advertisement and and things of that nature. I guess I'm sort of rambling now, but that's how I got into, I was dealing with the politics of graffiti and at art school. And then it's kind of funny because graffiti is such a sort of anti-authority thing, but it's still got its own kind of rules. But anyways, in '98, I answered a handwritten poster at a skateboard shop I was working at, and it said, looking for graffiti artists, and do you want to make money, canvases, murals, do you think you have skills with a can? Give me a call. And it was Steve Wilson, who's our ED here at Graffiti Art Programming, and he had been involved in corrections, and felt he was sort of on like the wrong end of the system. Like he wanted to do something more proactive and and sort of guide and help get you on a better path, sort of thing. And I happened to be the first one to call him, and I got some of my first like really big. I had been painting murals prior, but like some of my my most known murals are one of them is still up in Osborne Village right now. Like it's 20 years old, and like murals typically don't last that long. But I mean but as an artist, it was such a reaffirming. It was proof that this is something that's people can really aspire to, or be able to do something creative and get paid for it, and not not have all the limitations of other work might have. I don't know what I would do if I was in a cubicle.
You'd paint it.
Yeah.
How did meeting Steve then turn into the children's programming and the youth programming?
Yeah, well, we tried to. We were located in Elmwood, and we noticed while we were painting and drawing there, we had a lot of neighborhood youth come and watch what the artists were doing. We were painting on canvases and easels and drawing in our sketchbooks. And then we had the opportunity to move into this space the following spring, and we saw some of those kids found out that we were here, and some of them were coming here and jumping on the train and hanging off the train, and we're on a CN main line here, and then they would hop off and come here, and we're like, oh my God, this is that's so dangerous, right? For the age of these kids to come here. But it was after school, and they had nothing to do, and they would come here and they wanted to hang out, and they were running around. And so that's where the idea came that we should do some programming, some free after school art programming. Basically, it was how we started was a banquet table with art supplies and paints, and you kind of drop in, and just like how how the city does open gym, except not everyone wants to play basketball, so we have art supplies, and that's kind of that's how it started. But then the more people got to know us and come around, and it was like I was saying earlier, hip hop is huge with the youth. We had a lot of our friends were break dancers, so because we had this art class, one of our first actually. Some of our first most music programming was with this guy DJ Brace, who's a Juno award-winning artist also, but he went to he was part of our community, and he started doing our DJ classes. So turntables are expensive, and youth here don't have opportunities to play on $2,000 worth of equipment. So I would go and rent them at the music at Mother's, and then bring them down every Thursday, and until we could. I think it took 10 years for us to afford our own set to so I didn't have to go rent them. But yeah, so the music programming, and then it just evolved, snowballed actually, breakdancing classes. Different community centers wanted. Yeah, it just grew.
Can you tell me about the mural that's around us?
Yeah. So this mural is a program that we're doing right now for our. It's our sort of intro back into regular life, if you can call it that, after being isolated since COVID-19 thing. So, I mean, in March, closing closing in March and not having all our programming sort of stopped at all our city sites, as well as our other site at Porter's Place Mall. This is sort of our venture into having the public coming back and in a limited capacity. You know, we've got to call and make an appointment and be supervised and wear a mask.
For sure. It sounds like it's kind of like the roots of where it started, though. People come in and there's a banquet table with supplies and everyone. Kind of thing.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Did you also do a COVID mural at the beginning of the pandemic?
Oh yes. Well, I mean, I did it on my fence while, when my son I was like, I got to do something. People were putting things up in their windows and positive messages and thank yous to frontline workers, and I thought of doing something for our neighborhood, and sort of it was actually like something I would say to myself. It was I had tattooed this message, "This too shall pass," several times on people before, and I never really thought about it until my son was born, and he was born really early. So he was born premature, 25 and 5 days, and so he's in the hospital for a long time. So it seemed like forever. So I just said, "This too shall pass," to myself, and I thought, that would be a great saying to say to paint and, like, you know, tell my neighborhood that this is going to be over. We'll get through this kind of thing. And so I, put some house wrap on my fence, and I've got a corner lot, so it was like perfect. And it faces the basketball court and tennis court, which was silent for those months. So it was just like, we moved there because I love the sound of, like, the action in the basketball and tennis, and waking up to kids playing at the playground by the nursery, and it's great. But then having the silence there was just eerie. Mm-hmm. So facing that playground, I had I spray painted "This too shall pass" on the house wrap that I stapled to my fence.
So found out just before this interview, we both went to St. John Brebeuf, and then after we went to St. Paul's. How do you feel that St. Paul's High School influenced your journey in becoming an artist?
I think, definitely Mrs. Phillips was a huge part. Her encouragement was really instrumental, I think, and just being able to be able to be directed that way really helped me out. And I'm just I couldn't see any other place for me to go. And not that I necessarily think you need a fine arts education to be an artist, but I just my parents really wanted me to go to university, and so that's if I'm going to go, that's what I wanted to do. So Mrs. Phillips was huge, and having art club really helped as well. Just having that extra, and not, I did get in trouble for drawing in class, but that's fine. It was all part of learning.
Part of the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any of your fondest memories of the high school, whether it's art related or just in general?
Well, I mean, hanging out at lunch hour or spares with my friends. I have so many fun memories of that, and I hang out with Pat Jessamine and Colin Kazina and Dominic Adam when he's in town. But I mean, it's really great to have see now that Colin and Pat have kids, and I've got a son now. It's just a different experience, and it's cool to see his whoa, we were just like, we were rowdy teenagers, you know, like, and now we're responsible for these kids. So it's kind of hilarious.
Your son is how old?
He's going to be turning 4 in October.
And maybe a future Crusader?
Yeah, if I can afford it.
Put you on the spot there. So not only are you a co-founder of the Winnipeg Graffiti Gallery, but you're also the artistic director here. What is kind of the day-to-day, and what does your day look like and your job look like here?
Right now it's kind of strange, but yeah, before I guess it's not really your conventional job, because there's so many. It's a not-for-profit. We do so many different things, and I've got sort of my hand in everything, like everything from like maintenance to like fixing locks and like putting up artwork and organizing artists to for art exhibits and when we've got international artists, that's super fun. We've got, booking flights and hotels and arranging those kind of things, and having some past alumni like sponsoring events so we can host our artists at a hotel and that kind of stuff. And I don't know. It's all over the place, really. My job it's fun. It's like, and I get to work with amazing artists, and a lot of young artists. So it kind of helps me keep from feeling old.
And how have things changed because of COVID?
Well, our programming has definitely changed considerably. At the moment, we've adapted by purchasing a bunch of lighting rigs and microphones and phone camera stands, like tripod-ish things to do instructional videos from home. Because of COVID, we don't have the one-on-one interaction at the community centers. So since all the community centers have been shut down, we've done Zoom tutorials, and some of our instructors are teaching YouTube. Have got YouTube videos now, and it's different. It's like it's definitely not the personal. They're fairly intimate. Like when you see youth on a daily basis or 5 days a week, or even 3 days a week, when you're there every week, to not have those interactions is pretty strange, right? And not all the participants would have access to a tablet or Wi-Fi or that sort of thing. So there's those challenges as well. So what we did also is we had art kits that we made. So our START program, which is the after-school programming, provided, I think the last food bank, with the food banks running in Point Douglas, we would give the families with children an art package with an instructional sort of packet that they could with all the supplies they needed, everything to do the projects and follow the instructions, and then also with a list of like when we'll be online and those things, because we're trying to have that structure and that interaction without actually being in front of them.
I'll change gears again and bring up your son again. How has fatherhood and being a dad changed your art and your involvement in the community?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, since having a son, I think I've always been wanting to better a community or have a contribution to a community, but and inspire youth, but I think I just think that like making a better place is sort of, or trying to be a better person as a goal for my son to follow is sort of, and I want him to see I wouldn't be happy if I wasn't creating art. So whatever my son wants to do, sort of making whatever makes you happy your goal. There's things going on that I don't want my son to endure. You know, like I don't want him to go through have any traumatic experiences with racism, and you know, try and shelter him from that and that sort of stuff, right? So I'm just trying to do what I can with my community to sort of help that, so we collectively don't have to experience stuff like that.
For sure. Is he making art himself?
Oh yeah, he's making art. I mean, like, yeah, me and him will draw with each other, and you know, he'll paint on something and I'll paint a little bit. And, yeah, we do some collaborative stuff. But right now he's more into Spider-Man. So he's like, yeah, I think he's watching, right today he's watched the beginning of the Heritage Classic 10 times wearing a Spider-Man outfit. That's what he's doing.
There we go. Our last question, I guess we're going to have both alumni and current students watching this. So do you have any advice for a young artist who's starting their career, or maybe just general advice for the young people that are watching?
Yeah, I mean, as far as making art, make art that speaks to you. Look up artists that inspire you, and you know, and go outside of that zone also, so you can discover other influences that you may not think are influences yet, but and also to be able to make art authentically, and something that you know, you can just let out and kind of be your, I don't know, like there's can I explain a feeling that I
Sure. Yeah.
like, okay, there's something that I can't even explain really, is like when there's nothing I love more than waking up in the morning and putting on, when I know that I have to paint something, that I have to go to a mural site, I put on painting pants and comfy shoes and and load my car up with spray paint and like my mask and everything, and then when I sit in front of a wall and I'm just like, okay, let's do this, and it's like so solitary, and it's very fulfilling. It's like, you know, there was nothing here, I'm creating something, and you know, it's just I can't even explain it. You know, there's nothing more, there's no better feeling than and you know, it could be miserable out, or I've been on a 60-foot aerial lift, and like the wind is blowing and it's scary, and I'm just like, this is the best, you know, like just to be able to paint, like to be out painting and, you know, enjoying myself while I'm, that's, enjoy what you do. I don't know.
Find that feeling.
Yeah, find that, yeah.
So aside from the murals and the graffiti art, you also do body art and tattoos. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, I had the opportunity to I was painting a mural for a shop in 2007, and they offered me, in lieu of payment, an apprenticeship, which could cost up like over $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. And so instead of payment on the mural, I took that and I worked for free basically for a year until learn that. And while I was, you know, I was working here, I'd work here until 4 o'clock, and then I'd go to the tattoo shop and then and work there until 8 or 9. And yeah, that was really cool. I mean, I'd always been interested in tattoos. I was getting tattooed since I was 18, and I just like it was just another outlet, you know. Like I just sort of I'm so curious about doing like kind of everything kind of thing. So, but to be able to put drawing to skin was really cool, and you know, I'm yeah, thankful that I can do that, and people trust me to do it. So
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, Pat, thank you so much. We'll do one of these here, and yeah, it was a pleasure getting to know you.
thanks.
Thank you.